So now we're going to talk about why this curve is curved, why the production possibility frontier is a curve compared to being a straight line. And so part of this has to do with the resources that are being used. And one of the core propositions that we have in economics is this notion of diminishing returns. And we even have a law of diminishing returns. This law of diminishing returns tells us that as additional resources are added, / used, the marginal benefit, and I know some of you are like, marginal, what the heck does this mean? Margin? Like butter substitution? No, anytime we have marginal in economics, we can always replace this with the word incremental, which is just talking about the added or the extra benefits. So the marginal benefits, or the benefit of that next thing. So the benefit of that next resource that we're adding, that's what we're saying the marginal benefit is, the incremental benefit of those additional increments will decline. So that's the reason why this is a curve instead of a straight line. Because once we start to get to a region of the production possibility frontier where we are heavily invested in healthcare, right? So once we're at this position B, in order to get this minuscule extra bit of healthcare, right, we have to give up all of this education. So when we are in this region, when we are in the healthcare intensive region, trying to squeeze more healthcare out of the society is very costly. It's going to cost us a ton of education compared to the little bit of extra healthcare that we're going to get. Now compare that to the situation over here, where we don't have very much, or sorry, compare that to the situation right here, where we have zero healthcare, right? So again, when we're at the extreme where there's zero healthcare, then by giving up a very small amount of education, we're able to increase the amount of healthcare significantly. And so this has to do with the resources that are used, right? So essentially, the more productive resources are always going to be used first. And so when we're at this B point here, right, we're trying to convert schools into, urgent care centers. We're trying to teach teachers how to be nurses or something like that, right? When we're over here, if we're going from D to F, right, we're shutting down, doctors and nurses and other places like that, and we're building more, colleges and technical training programs and trade programs and so on and so forth, right? But we're doing that with resources that are probably better used for the healthcare or for something else. So anytime we kind of start to fixate on the heavy production of one industry or another, the more that we produce of that industry, the more we have to give up in order to get a little bit. Okay. So the two main differences between our PPF, the first one is the fact that the PPF is curved, right? And the budget line is straight. But the second one, as you guys saw from your particular participation exercise last class, right? The budget line, when we have the full information, when we have, income is equal to, $10,000, the cost of a car is equal to, let's just say, $1,000 to be, just easy numbers. And then the cost of shoes, let's say they're $100, right? And so that tells me that the maximum I can get in terms of shoes is going to be 10,000, my full income, divided by 100, the cost of shoes, right? So I could get 100 shoes here. And then the maximum cars that I could get, right? This intercept here is going to be, again, 10,000, my income, divided by the price of cars. So this is going to give me a 10 right here. And so the second difference that we have between the PPF and the budget line is the fact that the budget line has numbers, right? The budget line has actual numbers on the axis, whereas the PPF is just generic healthcare, generic education. There's never dollar values assigned to PPF or PPCs. The other thing that you might want to know is that these are often called production possibility curves. So you're going to see PPC, it's exactly the same thing, no difference. So don't get confused by thinking that they're two different things. They are exactly the same thing. Questions on PPFs, what they are, why they're shaped the way they are, and the two main differences between the budget constraint and the PPF. Awesome.